Yo, what up, what up, what up? Y'all know what it is, man. Like and share, like and share, like and share. So we can get this thing out everywhere. There's anywhere in the world you be, but so be right here with me, the BABGOG. And I appreciate you for pulling up on me. What's going on, man? Shout out to everybody in the building. Let's go ahead and get into it, bro. Now, this money thing, dog. If you don't know, okay, shit is happening fast, right? And it is going to happen. It's not gonna change. It's not gonna fucking go away. Okay. um The old system is dying. The new system is being born. The whole Clarity Act is being held up right now because the banks are trying to hold on for dear life. The banks basically can't compete, bro, in any way, shape, form, or fashion, or at least off on the old system, the Swift system. The Swift system is the system that's being used by the banks in order to make, transactions between businesses, between other countries, whatever, so on and so forth, right? The issue and the problem is the time that it takes, and then, of course, the downtime. So what happened was, banks got to make money. The biggest way banks makes money, or one of the biggest ways banks make money, is collecting interest. This is why there's a 9 to 5 banking hour, right? Like if you try to do a wire transfer, I think it's after 5 p.m. Shit's not gonna go through to the next day because the system is pretty much shut down. Same thing with the stock market, right? When the stock market shuts down, you got those quiet hours and everything of like speculation of what could happen, or even though things are happening, there's done call it to move. There's not 24/7, 365 action. Okay. This gives the bank times to accrue interest on the money they got. Oh, that's another thing I got pull up to, right? And basically, is money being lost in the process because, especially when you're talking about foreign exchanges and different things, because the dollar value, the yuan value, the UAE currency value, all the values of the currency is constantly changing, minute by minute, second by second. So let's say you have a steep decline or a steep fucking gain in one of the currencies, and you try to do the motherfucking wire transfer at the 5 o'clock. Well, in that time from 5 to whenever it opens up in the morning, money's either being lost or, you know what I'm saying, in opportunities and shit. So, but let's get back to where it all started, man. Let's get back to where it all started. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button, people. Hit the like button for me, please. Thank you.
Off at citizens following this dumb law, but you have to understand people saw it as their patriotic duty to help this country, and people believe the government actually had their best interest at heart. Hey everyone, welcome to Campbell's Coins. In 1933, President Roosevelt banned private gold ownership with Executive Order 6102.
All right, this executive order pretty much robbed the people. It was the first step to the fucking fiat currency. Okay, first steps to the shit. Okay, made fucking owning gold illegal, right? Through coercion and threats of fucking prosecution and taxes and all these different things, so on and so forth. People motherfucking turn their gold in. What they do, like a month later or so, they up the fucking gold by fucking 50%, thereby what? Cutting the motherfucking value of your dollar by the same amount. All in fucking, one of the biggest finesses ever, bro. FDR was not the great person they say that he are, bro. FDR has done some of the most diabolical shit in human history. Okay.
6102 required all persons to deliver on or before May 1st, 1933, all but a small amount of gold coins. During his presidential campaign, FDR promised to lower government spending and taxes, and like every subsequent president, balance the budget. And just like every president, once in office, he did the exact opposite. We were in the midst of the Great Depression, and Roosevelt wanted to stimulate growth by injecting cash into the country. Does this sound familiar? FDR wanted to spend more in an effort to create jobs and increase consumer demand. He raised taxes to fund this jump in spending, but quickly realized that he could not print enough money to pay for all these spending programs. He couldn't print money like they do today because of a pesky little thing called the Federal Reserve Act of 1914. The gold standard limited how much fiat currency our government could print by having it set against our gold reserves.
And that was purposeful. That was that way for a reason. That was based off a fucking economic principle. If you just have money, again, these sayings, these colloquialisms, man, mean something. Money don't grow on trees. Okay. If you can just pull money out of the air at any given fucking time, bro, the money's not worth shit. And eventually you're going to have a fucking crescendo that happens and the whole system is going to break because now you're basically passing off belief in no true value. This is why we're at a major part of this is because the fiat currency, the fiat system has died. So now they got to do the same thing. Just instead of gold, they got to go from fiat to the motherfucking to the crypto and the blockchain. So it is, like they say, there's nothing new under the sun. It's just this system is run its course, bro, and they can no longer kick the can down the road. Shout out to my brother Top Hat. Shout out to Top Hat B8V. Appreciate you, brother, for the 5. There is no knowledge that is not power. Happy Wealth Wednesday, good people. Hey, shout out to you, brother. Greatly appreciate you for the $5.
All paper money had to be backed by 40% gold owned by the federal government. In other words, for every dollar printed, the government needed 40 cents of gold in the bank. Having lost all confidence in our economy, people ran to the banks to withdraw their money as fast as possible.
Now, another thing with the banks, bank runs, right? I don't know when FDIC was made, but I'd imagine sometime after this to give people more trust or whatever about, the banks having their money, because how many people got $250,000, right? The thing is, it only works as long as you got as much money for insurance, as much money as people that got money in the banks. We're going to go over this shortly, but again, bank runs were a huge thing and issue, right?
FDR put a stop to that by creating a national banking holiday from March 6th through March 9th, 1933. Fearing further bank runs, on April 5th, 1933, just 1 month after taking office, Roosevelt used the powers granted to the president by the Trading with the Enemy Act of 1917 to make gold ownership illegal, both coins and bar. Folks were allowed to keep $100 worth of gold, which was around 5 ounces at the time, and there were some other exemptions for collectible coins, jewelry, and certain businesses. Most people had to turn in their gold or face $10,000 fine and 10 years in prison.
Now, listen, and people ask it, man, but you don't even think about it. Bro, how the fuck they gonna know how much gold you got? There's no way for them to track it. Gold ain't fucking serialized. Gold, they didn't have no motherfucking air tags back then. But that is the power, right, of fucking fear, man. That is the power of a government. So you tell the people, hey, man, you do this shit, $10,000 fine, prison time. Most people gonna fold, bro. The smart ones kept the shit, right? Buried it in the backyard, kept it in the closet or whatever, so on and so forth, right? But most people folded.
$10,000 in 1933 is roughly equivalent to $225,000 today, adjusted for inflation. It's fairly steep penalties. Many folks today scoff at citizens following this dumb law, but you have to understand, people saw it as their patriotic duty to help this country, and people believe the government actually had their best interest at heart.
That was another good thing too, man. Again, FDR was the ultimate fucking finesse king, bro. The jug king. FDR, as much as he's praised, bro, got America in so much shit. And again, Great Depression, all that shit, bro, on him. Pearl Harbor, him. FDR, bro, was not a great person, dog. For the sake of for America to be what it is and become the superpower, yeah. But FDR was by any means necessary type motherfucker. For the ultimate goal of America being the superpower long term, yeah. But from a moral standpoint, huge piece of shit, dog.
I've often heard people try to make the argument that this wasn't really a gold confiscation. If the government has a policy of turn in this or else, that's a confiscation in my eyes. But I digress. Why did the United States government confiscate gold? It comes back to the gold standard. President Roosevelt wanted to print more fiat currency, but couldn't because the United States gold reserves weren't large enough. Every fiat dollar printed had to be backed by 40 cents of gold. Gold at this time was valued at $20.67 per ounce. In order to print more money, our gold reserves would need to grow. So
what'd he do? He about to tell you the diabolical shit this motherfucker did. You tell motherfuckers, hey, man, it's illegal for you to own this shit. You get caught with it, 10 years, $10,000. All right, turn it in. Turn it in, because remember, gold equaled money. Gold equaled money. Told you $20 an ounce, I think they said, right? Gold was money, without a doubt. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Gold was money. Now, you take the motherfucking gold, all you got is the paper that's based on the real motherfucking money. And look what he about to do to the motherfucking paper.
Confiscation occurred. But that wasn't all. After the deadline to turn in your gold for paper currency, the value of gold was increased from $20.67 per ounce to $35 per ounce by the Gold Reserve Act of 1934.
Bro, that's what? 15 over 20. It's 3/5. Bro, a 60% fucking increase, bro. 60% increase of the value of fucking gold, which did what? Decrease the motherfucking dollars that you held by that, because when you got the dollars and you traded in your fucking gold for the dollar was before the price hike. So now you just lost 60% of your fucking money. And you don't have the actual thing of value anymore because you turned it in.
United States citizens were completely screwed over. They lost 41% value overnight. The US government could have raised the gold value before demanding citizens turn it over, but they didn't. It was sneaky, it was shady, it was criminal.
It was fucking, again, man, just like this shit that just happened with the what's the name of my bad? It's 41%, which I don't know. How would that be 41%? Because 40% is what, 10? It's $8. That's not right. 41% would be like, you say $20, so it'd be like $28. 10% of 20 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So I don't know how that math is mathing, but okay.
But it was all done under the guise of helping the country. The United States had a larger gold reserve, and now the gold value was much more, which allowed the Federal Reserve to print billions in fiat currency for public work initiatives. It's worth reminding the viewers, the Federal Reserve is a private bank owned by private individuals and not part of the US government.
That's another thing too, man. A lot of people forget that shit. The Federal Reserve is not a part of the fucking United States government, bro. This is why Trump got so much smoke with fucking what's his name, Powell. So much smoke with fucking Powell, because even though they're not a part, they determine what the rates are going to be for the fucking country. So it's a motherfucker you can't fire. It's a motherfucker you can't control, but they got the ultimate control over your fucking currency. That's why it's so much fucking smoke, bro.
It is not federal, and it holds no reserves. None of FDR's initiatives ended the Great Depression. In 1937, the stock market collapsed by 90%, and unemployment soared. Gold remained banned for U.S. citizens to hold until 1974, when Gerald Ford made an executive order decreeing so. The final nail in the coffin that is the United States economy occurred in 1971, when President Nixon took the United States off the gold standard entirely.
We're about to talk about that next.
Gold no longer backs our currency. It has enabled the Federal Reserve to print trillions in currency, making the dollar essentially worthless. Your time is...
Shout out to Top Hat, V8V again, man. Appreciate his brother for the 2. Government really told Smokey to come here and count shit. Yep. Indeed, man. Now let's get to this shiesty motherfucker. Everybody know this motherfucker was shiesty.
And diplomats were coming, and they were demanding gold. The U.S. simply didn't have enough. What were we to do? We interrupt this program for an important announcement from the president. Richard Nixon had made a unilateral decision, and it was so important he chose to interrupt Bonanza to address the nation. Essentially, Nixon had declared the following: dollars could no longer be converted to gold. It was the end of the gold standard. Nixon promised that his decision would stabilize the dollar, control inflation, and ensure that the U.S. would remain a pillar of the world economy. The result was a bit more unpredictable. You could even say messy.
Oh, very idea.
So why in the name of Fort Knox did Nixon do it? It started with the gold standard established back in 1944 in Bretton Woods, a small part of a tiny town in the little state of New Hampshire. Yet in this tiny place, the entire world economy got anchored to the US dollar, which in turn was pegged to gold at a fixed exchange rate of $35 per troy ounce of gold. As always, if you're getting some value, like this video and crush the subscribe button. Under the Bretton Woods Agreement, which the U.S. was able to strong-arm, the entire world would look to the U.S. dollar as the reference currency. Foreign banks could theoretically exchange their dollar holdings for gold at any time. This made the U.S. dollar as good as gold for a time.
So again, that's another problem. When you started overprinting the fucking money, right? You started overprinting the money and getting people hooked to the money, and it's equal to gold and attached to gold. Now, well, shit, I'm gonna cash in, and I'm gonna motherfucking fuck the money. I want the gold.
Problem was, this was based on a fractional reserve model. In other words, there wasn't enough gold in Fort Knox or elsewhere to equal the amount of dollars in circulation. Too much money printed, too little gold mined.
Again, always comes back to the money printing. So when you try to finesse the system, bro, it is inevitable for the system to break. All right? Whenever it's not matched up, bro, whenever it's not matched up and you start fucking trying to manipulate shit and, rob Peter to pay Paul, cut corners, do all this shit, the system is bound to fail. That's the problem with fucking fiat.
Idea was to make all the gold theoretically redeemable, but hope it would never happen. Could be a problem, and it was. France, Switzerland, and others began lining up at the gold window with a pocket full of devalued dollars. They started to make a run for gold, redeeming it to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. Nixon feared that more countries would line up to collect their gold, depleting the central reserves to dangerous levels, and further destabilizing the dollar. Several other factors were also at play. Deficits were snowballing, exacerbated by Vietnam War expenditures. Meanwhile, unemployment and inflation were both at over 6%, and Nixon's approval rating was faltering as re-election was looming. These were likely the primary reasons Nixon decided to interrupt Bonanza in August of 1971.
I directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets, except in amounts and conditions determined to be in the interest of monetary stability and in the best interest of the United States.
What happened immediately afterward is that American morale improved, and the Dow rose by a large margin. Nixon was eventually re-elected, but after the gold dust settled, the dollar slid in value even more. Around 1975, inflation was at about 11%, and unemployment was at 9%. Stagflation had arrived. By 1981, gold was worth nearly $900 per ounce, compared to $35 per ounce back in 1971. The federal funds rate was an incredible 20%, and inflation was 13.5%.
There's another thing too, man. Gold going up is a screaming fucking siren, alarm, every fucking thing to let you know that the dollar's fucked up and the system something's wrong. Something's majorly wrong. Okay. Whenever you get this astronomical rise in fucking gold, that's letting you know the dollar is fucked. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
This would be followed by a few recessionary periods in 1990, 2001, 2007, and 2020. Could all of these problems have stemmed from Nixon ending the gold standard? This point has been a contentious one. Many believe the end of the gold standard allowed for the stagflation that followed throughout the 70s, as well as the dollar's volatility and devaluation. Others believe there is some merit to a fiat currency that is not tethered to a fixed commodity like gold. Such a currency changes in value based on supply and demand pressures. It allows central banks to control the supply of money rather than for the money to be based on a fixed amount of gold. The central bank can print more or less money to help control credit, interest, inflation, and unemployment. In actual practice, this doesn't always work out. This is illustrated by the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s.
It never works out. It never works out because eventually you got to always print more money. And as we can see now, I think it's like a 30-some trillion dollar fucking deficit, right? $30 trillion debt, government debt rate that you can't motherfucking soak up at this point. Okay? It is inevitable whenever you play the fucking fiat game, bro.
1990s, and the specter of hyperinflation, which can result when the central bank's money printer gets stuck on, well, print. Some think cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are a solution to these fiat currency issues. Others,
again, I'm gonna talk about Bitcoin. Now remember, this is not financial advice, but I said this the other day, and people are starting to realize it. People wondering why fucking Bitcoin is losing value. One or two things, right? Bitcoin is crypto fiat. Say it again. I don't know if I haven't heard nobody else say this, but pretty much people talked about it and explained it, right? But I heard nobody else say this, at least around here, but me. Bitcoin, I'm not saying it's gonna go down to zero, but Bitcoin is gonna lose a lot of its fucking value. Several reasons. Biggest reasons being that something that was supposed to start out for the people to be able to make transactions has been taken over by the banks and by the vanguards and by countries and by big motherfuckers, right, bro? What is it now? $76,000, and I think it capped at $120,000 for one thing. What in the world is worth $70,000. What that currency just is going to be like 1% of the people that can even afford to use the shit. You feel me? And again, it has no intrinsic value behind it. It's just a belief of, oh, well, it should be this much. Right? Now that you got these other cryptos that actually have utility coming up and can be used for something, people are starting to motherfucking get out of that and going to them. And then when it drops down to the point of where like it's going to be affordable again for the people, it's never going up again because you don't have the, you know what I'm saying? It's not going back up to hundreds of thousands and even 50,000 or whatever, bro. It's going to be stuck at what it is because the people are trying to catch a wave that's never going to happen again because the fucking truth has been realized about what fucking Bitcoin really is.
Aren't so sure, as crypto has its own pros and cons. Bottom line, Nixon's decision may very well have contributed to market volatility and dollar devaluation, though there's no alternate universe to compare to in which he didn't end the gold standard.
Try to converge. Point one, correct on Bitcoin. It was never supposed to get regulated. Point two, the arrival of institutions in the market. Yeah, that's what fucked it up. That's what ran the money up, bro. It wasn't the people buying it. It wasn't the people that were, the common citizens that were using it. Is that the fucking country started getting involved and big ass banks and corporations and shit. They started investing in it, bro. So if you got banks and entire countries putting their motherfucking GDP into purchasing Bitcoin, what you think that's gonna do?
What's clear is that the decision was very shocking. What's not so clear is whether the global economy will require another change like it to address growing deficits, volatility.
Yeah, so that's the Nixon shit, bro. Now, currently, the issue and problem we're having is America, right, is the that's what it was. Pretty sure. America, as we all know, is the reserve currency of the world. Okay. Whenever you are the reserve currency of the world, it prevents you from really being able to make a whole bunch of money like everybody else. So this is the dilemma, the conundrum, the oxymoron that occurs.
Triffin dilemma, and why does it matter more than ever? All right, what's happening, everybody? We've got a super sexy topic today. We're going to be talking about the Triffin dilemma and the paradox of global monetary policy for the reserve currency issuer. It's about to get real hot in here, so sit tight. So this sexy guy's name was Robert Triffin, and
I can't do it, brother. You done reference sex too many times, brother. Jesus Christ. I can't even watch your video. What the hell? Damn. Hot, sexy. Yeah. This nigga too freaky. Let's try this one.
National finance that arises when a national currency, such as the US dollar, also serves as the global reserve currency. First identified by economist Robert Triffin in the 1960s, the dilemma highlights a fundamental conflict between domestic economic policy and the global demand for liquidity. At its core, the issue is that the country issuing the reserve currency must supply a steady stream of its currency to satisfy the needs of international trade and finance. To do this, it often runs persistent trade deficits, importing more than it exports, which floods the global market with its currency.
Now, again, this is what Trump realized, and he's looking at this from the business aspect, and most people don't get, right? You got to devalue the dollar, bro. You got to knock the value down in the dollar so people will stay on the dollar, and then we can make some money, and then the companies and shit come back to America, right? If the dollar's too strong, this is why everybody ran to China. It costs too much in American dollars to run the fucking to run the company, because the dollar is a reserve currency and one of the strongest currencies on the fucking planet because everybody uses it. Well, now if you're the reserve currency and you devalue the dollar, all right, you get the businesses back, When you devalue the dollar, you fucking your people up because now the dollar ain't worth shit. So that's the conundrum and the dilemma that you're in, to where it's a motherfucking catch-22. It's a lose-lose in a situation. If you got the strong dollar, well, you're gonna lose your fucking your industry. You're gonna lose the ability to really make money because you constantly sending your money out to everybody else to pay you back or to use it around, and you're not even fucking really benefiting from the shit. That's gonna roll into the whole Japan issue, to where you got the treasury bills, and then it can become a weapon used against you, because now if I stack up all these fucking treasury bills, i.e. China and Japan, and I have a major fucking sell-off of them, that fucks even more shit up, because now I'm buying back my own money because nobody else want to touch the shit. See?
This process ensures that other countries have the reserves needed to facilitate international transactions. It also means that the reserve currency is backed by a growing amount of liabilities rather than tangible asset. Over time, this can undermine confidence in the currency's value. Historically, this tension was a key factor in the collapse of the Bretton Woods system. Under that regime, the US dollar was pegged to gold, and other currencies were pegged to the dollar. As the United States expanded its money supply to meet the world's demand, doubts emerged about whether the dollar was sufficiently backed by gold. These concerns eventually led to the suspension of gold convertibility in 1971, marking a pivotal moment in modern monetary history. The dilemma remains relevant today.
Shout out to Andre 420. By the way, you're right about XRP. I did a presentation about it when I did marketing in 2019. Hey, I appreciate you, bro. Hey, those that know, man. Those of us that know.
Even without the gold standard, the US dollar continues to be the primary vehicle for international trade and finance. Critics argue that the inherent conflict between maintaining domestic economic stability and providing enough currency to support global growth can lead to recurring imbalances. Some economists propose diversifying global reserves or even creating a supranational reserve asset, such as a basket of currencies or enhanced special drawing rights through the International Monetary Fund. These proposals aim to reduce reliance on a single national currency, thereby mitigating the risks associated with the Triffin dilemma. Understanding the Triffin dilemma is crucial for anyone interested in global economics. It not only explains historical shifts in monetary policy, but also sheds light on ongoing debates about the future of the international monetary system and the search for sustainable economic stability.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you. No fucking sexy and oohs and ahs and shit, none of that unnecessary shit. So what we got going on now is $38 trillion of debt. You're accruing over Powell refused to motherfucking cut the rates, right? Because a cut on the rates is also a cut on the fucking interest being accrued on the fucking debt. So Powell playing hardball or just saying fuck Trump because, you know, they beefing or whatever is not hurting Trump. This shit is hurting the whole fucking country, bro. If you got the rates at, I think it's like, what is that, 4, 3.5, or 4, right? That percentage is the percentage that the debt is collecting on the fucking, you know, on the yearly. Right? So if you understand that shit, man, you know what I mean? that's why I say Trump is really looking at this shit from a business aspect and doing everything he can do to keep this shit from motherfucking blowing up and falling apart while he's sitting in the seat, dog. I'm a strong believer that if he makes it to this point, unless they get this fucking crypto shit done, that's another reason why he just had a major meeting, I think, over the weekend with Coinbase and XRP and all these other fucking people and shit, because they playing around with this Clarity Act. And that's the only thing right now that's going to fucking save the system, possibly. Shout out to man, Top Hat again, man, for the fire. Appreciate you, brother. Motherfuckers still stacking funds and unproductive access at depreciating rates via outdated vehicles. Old 60-40 thought process. Fuck out of here. Well, again, man, I don't think most people don't have a fundamental economics understanding. And then that's all we've been taught to do. So if all you've been taught to do was the like right now, appreciate you, bro. That's what I thought it was, 3.5. It's either 4 or 3.5. So Top Hat, somebody was just talking about today. I saw when I was going over the thing yesterday, and they still talking about 401ks, bro. 401k is the biggest motherfucking finesse and robbery of all time, bro. 401k is fucking horrible, dog. Especially, you know what I'm saying? And when these things were based, I guess they had, you know, in theory, but none of these old plans planned for inflation. None of these old plans plan for, you know what I mean, the constant motherfucking loss of value in the dollar and the constant rise of the cost of living. But every company still offering what? They didn't turn a motherfucking 401k into a motherfucking 802k. They didn't double it up. They still got your shit just collecting barely enough fucking interest. They don't even tell you about the different funds that are available in the fucking 401k. This is, it's all purposeful, man. This is for the everybody complain about, you know, the big banks and the 1%, but you're only a victim if you allow yourself to be. We're in the information age. You can learn all this shit yourself. I'm not, by all means, man, you know, hire a CPA, hire accountant, you know what I'm saying? Talk to someone that's versed, but people are being set up for fucking failure, bro, just out of laziness and ignorance. I'm telling you, bro. It nothing. Imagine you don't work your whole fucking bro now, and they keep upping the retirement age. Retirement age is what? Yeah, Tia. All these things that are government funded or anything with the government is limited, and it's meant to be that way. It's capped. You can't really you can, you know what I mean, but it's a limitation on the money you can make. You're far better off investing your own money. You know what I'm saying, outside of these systems. By all means, if you can put something in there, put something in there. But look at the opportunities and the options within those systems. If you were to just switch your regular 401k over to the fucking S fund, right, and then you choose the stock markets or the ETFs or whatever, so on and so forth, to invest in, you know what I'm saying, you make a whole lot more money than just letting it sit there and accrue a little bit of fucking interest that you get on the regular shit. The system is made, like you said, man, the system is made to keep you a debt slave and keep you fucking either poor or damn near knocking on poor's door. Okay? You don't have to be that way. We have to start making better financial decisions, black people especially, because again, 2053 is guaranteed to be 2043 by now, if not earlier. It's fun. So they had the same thing. What do they call it in the fucking Navy? And then I didn't learn. They didn't tell us about this shit until, and it wasn't even this. It was another sailor that told me about this shit. Like my last 3 years in the Navy, and he was like, "Yeah, man, you got to take your shit out of the regular fund and put it in the fucking S fund, and that's the where you're pretty much linked to stocks and shit on the stock market." Well, I wouldn't give financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor. But if I was 23 for me, what I would do today, if I was 23 today, me, I'm talking about me, I would get some XRP and I would look into precious metals, all of the fucking what's the joints? Nvidia and AMD. Anything that's going to support the future shit. Don't just look at those, but what people don't. So let me shift to the silver shit, right? So again, silver is not jewelry. And being that most people don't understand shit about technology and they don't understand the utility of it, people only think of silver as jewelry. So if you're not involved in tech or electronics and shit like that, and you don't understand how the things that you use work, remember, bro, people laugh at silver. Remember when I had my niggas was joking me about my silver Cuban? Oh, nigga, that's some fucking silver, nigga. That motherfucking stainless steel. Right? And I'm like, all right, you know what I'm saying? But I knew and I understood, you know what I mean, from the whole fucking time that just again, silver was purposely being suppressed, bro. That's another thing. They were purposely suppressing silver because they were using paper silver to fucking fund shit, cover shit, and use it as money. So I found this out. I want to say who said that? I forget who the economist was that said it, but I found it out. Like I want to say, like 10 years ago. At this point, right? No, I went 10. I went 10. What? It had to be when I was on more like 8 or 9. Was it 2026? So like 8 or 9 years ago, right? Let's say 8. So understanding and being that I know because I'm an electrician, right? Conductivity is a major important fucking thing, bro, for all of these high powered fast speeds. You don't want no corrosion, durability, all these different things when it comes to electronics, right? And batteries. So now that you got all of the and then solar panels. So all of these companies, right, and all this new technology are having major demands on fucking silver. But at the same time, silver was being purposely depressed. I mean, suppressed, not depressed, suppressed, right? That's why silver finally broke through the fucking shit because there was an actual physical demand for it, and it started going public to where you had it was Tesla, and another who was another major company? Oh, Samsung, Tesla, and those two specifically, but I think it was like one more major fucking corporation that was out here putting contracts on silver, right? Offering fucking numbers for fucking silver because they had to have it in order to produce the products. That's another one. Shout out to Convergence. That too. So people don't know this. Y'all taught me this 2 years ago, 2024. I had no idea that fucking Amazon's biggest thing was fucking cloud storage and information. Same thing with Meta. I knew it about Meta, right? Or Facebook. And then, but the same thing's going on with Tesla now. So anybody that's cloud store, oh, Apple too. Yeah, Apple too. Information storage and shit, bro. Another big thing, you got to start looking into what's going to be needed for quantum computing. So I don't know if you guys remember this. I want to say 2 years ago, nickel went through the roof. Nickel was like $43,000 a fucking ounce or some crazy shit. I forget what it was for or whatever, but it was somewhere around the whatever it was for. Nickel, crazy. Nvidia too. I know it's Samsung and what's next. So Nvidia. Appreciate it. Yeah, that makes sense. Nvidia. Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki talk. Rich Dad Poor Dad, bro. Is a who asked the question? Be Love. Have your 23-year-old read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's another one too. Have your 23-year-old read Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's a good basis. That's a good basis. But hold on, let me get away from rambling and let's get to this shit. So remember, I was telling you about the treasuries issue, right? Now Japan are our pals, are our buddies, but Japan shit is so bad. I think Japan's debt to GDP is somewhere around 230% or something crazy. Japan is holding on by their motherfucking teeth and nails. Okay, so now Japan, who's been the biggest fucking buyer of U.S. treasuries, is forced to sell it for the fucking sake of their own currency not to die.
So let us kick off this hour with a man who's been talking about Japan and this 4 months, Rick Santelli, and the bond report. Did I set it up appropriate? Did I get the relationship right, Rick?
Oh, shout out to Semino. He said SanDisk was like $30 something last year. Oh, that's another thing. This dude, I was following the dude on YouTube. He was fixing computers for people that like had broken computers. The price of memory is fucking skyrocketed. Anything that's to do with memory, computer memory, physical memory, some shit like that. Shout out to Seminole. I appreciate you, bro. Look into that. Again, man, we got to start working into again, just using it, bro. The internet is the wonderful thing about the internet, bro. It's just the information just there. You just got to pay attention to it. Gotta pay attention to it, man. Just gotta pay attention to it. Little shit like that. And again, if you're not in those industries, you're not in certain things. But if you see an astronomical fucking rise in the price for some shit, bro, you know what I mean? And hey, man, this chat is going to be available. So again, I'm not giving any financial advice, but there are a lot of brothers and sisters in the chat that are dropping a lot of information. So I would take heed to that information being and of course do your own research, right? Of course, do your own research, right? And invest responsibly. But yeah, man. Try to pay attention to the people in the chat, man.
Between Japan, bond yields in our markets?
You absolutely did. And believe me, the Greenland story is fun for the press, but the real story, you're absolutely right, is what's going on with that 6 standard deviation move and 10-year Japanese yields in 2 trading sessions. I'm going to go really quickly here. All right, let's look at an August chart of our 2-year. And notice, we're still in the trading range. Short maturities hardly have had a move. They're unchanged. Now, look at the 10-year from the same date. It's breaking out. But even though it is breaking out, it's not breaking out in a huge way. It's basically breaking out, well, the highest yield closure to stay here since the third week in August. Now, there's the February 99 chart that Sully was referring to on the Japanese government bond. It has been going up, up, up and away. And if you look at the foreign exchange side, here's the euro yen. It continues to go up almost on a daily basis as well. The euro's at the highest level since.
He can't do it, insane. He can't do it because if you link it back to gold, now people can demand the gold. And we just simply don't have enough gold. America has been behind in the gold game for I don't know how long. We don't even, again, I think somebody mentioned it. I forget who it was. Bro, they hadn't done a fucking audit in Fort Knox in forever. We don't even know how much actual gold that America has. But it's a safe bet to say it's not that much more than fucking China. China's been collecting gold, bro, like motherfucking Pokemon over the last years. And it's notably about it, bro. So I don't know. Well, I do know you can't do that because now if you fucking back the fucking currency to gold and then you got to think about the existing treasuries, right? You have to collect all the fucking treasuries or make all of the existing treasuries null and void. So a motherfucker just can't turn around and soak the fucking gold up, which we know there's too much money to, you know what I'm saying, set to the gold. Unless you're going to set gold at a crazy ass fucking price, like, you know, $1 million a bar. I'm just saying, I don't know what the math is, but you understand what I'm saying? You have to set the value of gold at an astronomical, unbelievable fucking number to be able to fucking back it, to back currency again. That's another. I'm glad you said this too. You can't, once you leave, you can't come back. Once you leave the gold standard, once you unlink the fucking currency, you can never link it back unless you destroy all the existing currency and just start all the way over fresh.
1991. If you look at the dollar yen, we're not at fresh highs, but we are hovering right around the highest level on the yen since July of 24. And it's been kind of hovering at that level. And when everybody talks about the dollar index in Europe and pulling their hair out, we're still up on the year on the dollar index, even though it's a little bit. And where we open the year is still up from the lows of 2025. And I'll give you the final statistic. Anyone who thinks that this is all about Greenland, I'll give you an example. Treasury International Capital Flows, tick data. We received it on the 15th last week. And you know what it showed? It showed foreign investors aggressively buying into the Japanese or U.S. debt markets to the tune of $2.
Free zone. They say that shit, but I don't believe it, bro. I just don't believe it. That's what they supposed to say. But we come to find out about a lot of this money shit, bro, by everybody. I don't know. Until they motherfucking serialize and especially in free zone. Why I say that is because of what they're doing with silver. Right? So now that we know that the silver is fucking super duper fucking shorted by actual ETFs and shit, and the fucking companies that's claiming it, I can't trust them on the gold either. 8 times the gold, bro, is everybody else, but that's a lot of gold, dog. Yeah, I just don't trust 8 times. If you told me twice or maybe even 4, but 8 times the gold than everybody else in the fucking world, nah, I find it hard to believe, especially knowing how China been moving.
112 billion, a very aggressive November for purchases. So in the end,
yeah, they definitely did that. That was definitely a part of it. Same thing with Saddam Hussein, right? But how much gold did he have? So even if we say Gaddafi and Saddam both, right, substantial amount of fucking gold that they had, those stockpiles, you know what I'm saying? Because those shits was like even though it was the countries, it was their personal shit. So I don't know. I just don't see them having that significant amount of gold like that.
The dollar not on fresh lows. Tick data showing that we have sizable contributions by other countries. And then my final thought is, after watching these things for years and years and years, is that countries don't make their decisions based on emotions, maybe other than Denmark today. They base their decisions on where to invest their money to make money. And if that wasn't the case, why would China be so invested in our treasuries? Back to you.
Okay. So I don't know what the fuck he talking about, but China is selling all fucking treasuries. They're so invested because this was a not a coup, but this was a long-term plan, right? Being that we were like their greatest fucking purchaser and trade partner, right? Before the fucking they've been collecting these fucking treasuries for I don't know how long. Well, if you start dumping them off, right? And you know Japan is in trouble too, and they got to dump them off. Now you're hurting the currency. So I don't understand what he's saying, talking about China being so invested or whatever. But no, bro, China is a motherfucking yeah, exactly. What we talking about? Now, I had the damn thing, bro. Zhang something. So the silver crash that fucking happened, well, not just silver and gold crash that happened over Friday, bro. Once in a lifetime fucking shit, never been seen. Everybody that's talking about it, any economist you talk to, definitely fucking manipulation, definitely fucking collusion, definitely fucking all of this, some illegal shit going on, right? Some shit just don't ever fucking happen. You don't reach all-time fucking highs in gold and silver, and then within a fucking 48-hour period, the shit drops back down and you lose what I think 40 and 30% motherfucking things in a 24-hour period. Right, mind you, over the weekend. Remember, it's a more important thing. This happened on a Friday. Right? So what does that give all the banks and shit and time to do? Because it happened on a Friday, the market closed. Right? Even in China and shit, even overseas. The markets closed on Friday. Right? Remember, they just lost a whole, but they had to inject I want to say it was like 40 million or something, millions of fucking dollars into the banks to keep them from fucking drowning and closing in December. They had fucking silver short, right? Before they changed it to long. So they lost on the shorts when silver hit $100. Lost a lot of money on fucking shorts. The fucking once it hit 100, shit keep going, go all the way to 120. Now on a fucking Friday, after record fucking record levels for both of them fucking dropped 30 and fucking 40%, bro. In a what? 90. Mind you, remember, all this shit happened during the time the market was open. So that's what? 9 to 5, 8 to 10 hour fucking period. Shout out, man. Top hat again, man. Hey, I hope y'all taking notes, man. For the two, appreciate you. Ain't nothing but some money. Moonshots podcast, Zip Trader, All In podcast, good shit. Hey, check them out, man. Oh well, it's gonna do that. It's already back up, bro. It's bouncing. They trying to pause. So hold on, let me look at it right now. It was 84. Spot was 84 yesterday. Let me see what it is right now. And China's is higher than what it is over here. So spot is at 88 right now. 88.15. That's what spot is at right now. On the second, it got as low as what, 74? It hit 90 on the fourth, and it's dropping down to 88 somewhere, hovering around that point. The shit gonna go back up because they pulled the motherfucking ultimate Trump trick card they had to pull, and you can't really do the shit back to back like that again. So it ain't gonna worry about it. Y'all are forgetting that owning land is more valuable than precious metal. Malachi, brother, I'm not arguing that, but Malachi, it's far easier for a person to afford precious metals, and precious metals gain right now is much higher than what property is. Property and land are about to lose a lot of value, brother. The housing bubble will pop also here soon, if y'all ain't forgot about that. So, I mean, please understand, it's a plot of land, like an acre and a half right down the street from me. They trying to sell for $600,000 fucking dollars in Jacksonville, Florida, bro. Nothing special, not on the lake, just a fucking lot. I'm telling you for sure, well, that is too much for fucking just land alone, brother. So a lot of the shit out here is overpriced. A lot of it. That's why I said, remember what I told you again. Me, if I was able to get a motherfucking HELOC on my property right now, I would be getting a HELOC on my property. If I got a good ass interest rate, you know what I'm saying? A good old, you know, when I'm good old 4% or lower, 3%, 2% interest rates. Hey, I'm not refinancing, but I would definitely be looking into a HELOC because property values, again. Yeah, that convergence. I keep saying, this is not financial advice. Do your research, okay, and don't just throw your fucking money away. Don't come to me, man. You told me. I ain't tell you shit. All I'm gonna say is XRP. Only thing I would be, if I was giving, you see it. If I was giving financial advice, which I'm not, the only thing I would be giving financial advice is concerning XRP. That shit is all but in the bag. It's just way too much shit going on. But you know, banks fighting, trying to keep shit going and hating and whatever. But everything else, bro, please, bro. I would, again, do your research, dog. Exactly. A lot of it, bro. A lot of it. You got, again. That's and you know what, Free Zone. The part I was saying is right when the crash happened in 2008, bro. Right. Go back and look at a lot of these companies, bro. Pennies on the dollar. When the crash happened in 2008, by like 2009, whatever, so on and so forth, bro. I think like, bro, some of these businesses were like $1 a share. But because we, you know what I'm saying, we weren't taught this shit. We weren't fucking savvy. I'm pretty sure I don't know if you could have an E-Trade account back then. I don't know. I forget when I got my E-Trade account. But, you know, everything went digital and shit or whatever. You actually had probably more people probably using stockbrokers and shit in 2008, right? 2008, 2009. But just look at all the opportunities that we missed on. And all the rich people, bro, anytime shit like this happens, same thing with like the crash and shit, bro. Bro, they got so many deals internationally. Japan, major banks in Europe. A lot of people, bro, just getting on the fucking the bandwagon, dog. Try to we winning, man. Nuclear energy. That's another big one too. So they got it that because of all this shit that's going on with electric, right? And the way China's moving energy wise, Trump is pretty much cheating on the test, bro. Trump is like, hey man, this shit China got going on, you know what I mean? As much as I may not motherfucking like them, I need to see what the fuck they doing because the shit they doing is motherfucking working. So whatever they doing, I need to be a step ahead of them. Shout out to Ancient Man for the 5. Appreciate you, brother. You remember when I told you about silver at $25, $30 a while back? I hope you bought then. Yeah, I bought some then. Man. Oh, Real Deal Financial. You the hold on. I don't remember Real Deal Financial. I was thinking of another guy. But I appreciate you, bro. Welcome back. Where do I want to go? Now this shit right here. Listen, speaking of silver, right? And this is why. All right. Even though you can't, this isn't financial advice. Just understand what this is and who's saying it.
Thank you. Well, good morning, everybody. And thank you all for being here. We're honored by the presence of so many world leaders, and it speaks to the importance of what Secretary Rubio and the team are working on to fix this critical minerals issue. And I just wanted to let you know that we're honored by your presence and certainly grateful for you coming to Washington for this very important conversation. I know there are a lot of very important discussions to be had over the rest of the day, so I want to be relatively brief. First, let me say thanks to our incredible Secretary of State for putting this group together. Marco's doing an incredible job. And when he asked me to come and speak today, I said, man, this is your building. Why don't you come and give a speech? And he said, well, because I've got 5 jobs and you've only got 1. And so I figured I might as well do Marco a solid since he's also the archivist and the official White House florist and has a number of other jobs in addition to Secretary of State. So I kick us off, and then he's going to take the reins from here. But let me just say a few things about what we're doing and why this matters. So I remember after our very wildly successful military operation in Venezuela, the President of the United States was talking with me and Marco and some of the other senior members of the cabinet. And he was talking just about how important it was that we ensured that the global economy had access to oil and gas many years in the future. And that, of course, is one of the reasons why we're interested in Venezuela, is because it has such a critical importance in this all-important resource called oil. And as much as we talk about the modern economy, the digital economy, the high-tech economy, the president said something that was very, very important and I think should inform a lot of how we think about future growth, which is that as much as data centers and technology and all of these incredible things that we're all working on matter, fundamentally, you still have an economy that runs on real things. And there is no realer thing than oil. And I would add to that, there's no realer thing than critical minerals. And I think.
So again, man, this is a power move too because of the petrodollar shit, and pretty much they done bucked the petrodollar. The petrodollar is all but dead. Now that China's able to do a direct deal with OPEC and them boys over there, right? And they ain't got to use fucking dollars to buy the currency. This is why they're talking about these different things. And America is trying to get into the game because, hey, the rules done changed, bro. The rules have changed.
A lot of us have learned the hard way in some ways over the last year how much our economies depend on these critical minerals. So
critical minerals, let me see. Hold on. Let's give us a thing so to tell us which minerals has determined as critical. Copper, silicon, boron, metallurgical coal, and silver. Okay. Copper, silicon, boron, metallurgical coal, and silver. Okay. Those are the critical minerals. Okay.
Every man and woman, I believe, in this room understands what we're confronting together today. And I say together, and that is very much something that is at the heart of Secretary Rubio's initiative. And as he said, at the heart of what we're trying to do all across the administration is recognize that this is something where our alliances and our friendships can really help one another. We're all on the same team. We're all rowing in the same direction. I believe that in this room, we have close to 2/3 of the world's GDP represented.
Oh, and uranium. Uranium also.
And so we have the capacity to make ourselves more independent, more self-reliant, and that's what we should be doing. Now, we know that today, the international market for critical minerals is failing. It's failing to create domestic markets or dignified jobs for our labor forces, and it's failing to keep our nation safe. Supply chains remain brittle and exceptionally concentrated. Asset and commodity prices are persistently depressed, driven downward by forces beyond any individual country's control. Now, how many times cumulatively have one of us or many of us in this room heard some variation of the story that I'm about to tell? A lithium mine, a gallium recovery center, you name it, is announced, sometimes with years in planning and financing nearly in place. Then overnight, foreign supply floods the market, the prices collapse, and investors pull out. The project stalls, and eventually the project dies on the vine. We've all seen it firsthand in all of our countries. And the result is a global market where consistent investment is nearly impossible, and it will stay that way so long as prices are erratic and unpredictable. And that's one of the things that we want to work on with this initiative. Let's make the prices more predictable and less erratic so that we can support the domestic supply chains and the investment that makes those supply chains possible. Now, across Europe, North America, there are dozens of mining and processing initiatives that have been suspended or completely abandoned because sustained price weakness makes financing impossible. Time after time, advanced economies with deep capital markets are finding that projects cannot clear costs. The same story plays out elsewhere around the world. In resource-rich developing economies, only a tiny fraction of global mining investment, including from nations, many of them in this room, is reaching the point of actual projects. We plan, we think about it, we even invest a little bit of money, we do the regulatory work, but so many of them die on the vine. Now, everyone knows that these deposits exist. We've mapped a whole lot of them, and we know they're ready to be mined and processed. But capital can't reach them so long as investors lack confidence that those markets are going to remain stable for long enough to justify the long-term commitment. That is the problem that we confront. And even here in the United States, even with all the incredible things that President Trump and the entire administration has done to eliminate permits, to open up the regulatory environment, we have private financing that we've secured, but even in some cases, even in the United States, some of these projects are struggling to attract investors. We see telltale signs of a market distorted beyond recognition, one that punishes strategic investment, one that punishes diversification, and one that punishes long-term planning. This is crazy. We should have the kind of global markets, the kind of domestic markets that reward long-term planning, that reward.
So again, basically what happened, and this was a big part of the whole Venezuela shit, bro. These people start these fucking projects, but when you had, and this was the issue with the whole Biden thing and whatnot, right? If you take away the funding or you make a regulation that fucks the fucking shit up, now a process that got started will never be finished because you just fucking undercut or you hamstring the company that you told it was cool to do the shit. Now, of course, if a Republican isn't elected in the next election, presidential election, it could be the same thing, right? But ultimately, I think once this is done, it's pretty much done because you're going to have to depend on it for the sake of fucking America's financial survival. Okay? Unless the next motherfucker that get in there is just balls to the wall, anti-American, and they were elected / selected to run America in the ground.
Strategic thinking, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. I think every single one of us represented in this room has become dependent on arrangements we did not choose, and right now, arrangements that we cannot control. We all face the same vulnerability. Access to the things that protect our people and sustain our way of life. Everything from missile defense systems to energy infrastructure to advanced manufacturing to emerging technologies. The fundamental supply chains that support these industries sometimes can vanish in the blink of an eye without any control or influence from many of the countries in this room. And we in the Trump administration believe it is the business of the government, of the people's government elected just over a year ago, to confront such problems, and we want to confront them together. And I think that you're all here, at least I hope you're all here, because you all feel the exact same way. Now, our administration came into office last January, barely a year ago, with a clear mandate to reindustrialize the United States of America and return American workers to the center of our economic policy. And that is what we are doing. And I want to tell you just a little story about one of the very first meetings I had with our Secretary of Commerce and the Secretary of the Treasury, two great people, two great business leaders. And I remember saying, look, we have our views of the Biden administration. We're not particularly fans, as you may have guessed. But setting that to the side, surely the Biden administration put together a list of the critical industries, the critical technologies, the critical manufacturing facilities that are supported by these rare earth minerals, these critical minerals. We may think it's bad work. We may think the people who put it together weren't particularly wise, but surely that gives us some foundation to build on. And I was shocked when our Secretary of the Commerce and Secretary of the Treasury came back to me and said, actually, we have never done this. In the last 4 years, the Biden administration never sat down and tried to understand what are the critical deficiencies in world supply chains. That's crazy. It's insane that we ever got to this point. But in just 1 year, the president of the United States has struck dozens of deals to fix that problem. Domestic and foreign producers are both included in this, and we're trying to ensure durable end-to-end supply chains for our country.
So domestic and foreign producers means what? Miners, right? All the stuff you're talking about is something that you got to dig up out of the ground. All right, it don't fucking fall out of the sky. You can't manufacture it. Shout out to where you at? Where you're at? There you go. Natural resources you cannot make. Yeah, these are things that are in the earth that you got to motherfucking dig up in order to get. Okay, that means you're going to need miners, right? Refiners, right? Miners and refiners are not the same thing. Be it oil, be it minerals, whatever. That's going to create a lot of jobs, right? That's going to create a lot of jobs, bro. All right. But also the international shit is a big part of it too, i.e. Venezuela, of course, for the oil thing, but Venezuela also has substantial fucking silver and gold. Well, no, not silver, sorry. Venezuela has substantial gold deposits, right? Look it up. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. Right. And everybody's talking shit about Argentina, but Argentina has significant silver deposits, right? So please understand, man, this shit is I don't believe there's going to be any mineral backed currencies, but I think he's going to say it here. They're going to set a fucking floor, a baseline for the fucking price of silver, and when that is done, pretty much meaning, hey, this is how much the shit gonna go. You at least know this is how much it's gonna be, and it should be up from there. Of course, things can happen and so on and so forth as to where it, but that right there is going to be huge on the precious metals market, silver specifically.
But also for many of our friends. We've mobilized public financing tools at an unprecedented scale, providing up to $100 billion in lending authority for critical minerals to the Office of Strategic Capital. Marco's now a venture capitalist too. He's got many jobs. We've overturned old orthodoxies and taken direct stakes in high-value mining and processing companies. The United States had not built a primary smelter in this country since 1980, before I was born, 4 years before I was born. In the last month alone, we have announced two, one of which is already fully funded. And on Monday, the Trump administration announced Project Vault, America's first ever domestic critical minerals stockpile. With these moves, we intend to build an ironclad network of new industrial supply chains to span the entire nation. We're going to create good-paying jobs, skilled jobs for the American labor force, and those people, those great workers, are going to be securing a new era of prosperity for American families, and I believe for many people all over the world. But we seek to make sure our friends and our allies are part of this and that you all are covered as well. Our goal here, and the reason why we're doing this conference, is to align trade policy, development finance, and diplomatic engagement towards a shared strategic objective. And that objective is very simple: diversifying global supply in the critical minerals market while strengthening the partner countries who help all of us in this shared effort. Over the past year, our administration has signed agreements, we have launched many joint initiatives, and we've committed extensive resources with many of you in this room, with many governments, and our work extends across disparate regions and all stages of the value chain. We've convened this ministerial in an effort to accelerate that shared work. So this morning, the Trump administration is proposing a concrete mechanism to return the global critical minerals market to a healthier, more competitive state. A preferential trade zone for critical minerals protected from external disruptions through enforceable price floors. We will establish reference prices for critical minerals at each stage of production.
Let me slow it down and go back. Y'all heard that, right?
Morning, the Trump administration is proposing a concrete mechanism to return the global critical minerals market to a healthier, more competitive state. A preferential trade zone for critical minerals protected from external disruptions through enforceable price floors. We will establish reference prices for critical minerals at each stage of production.
We will establish reference prices for critical minerals. Okay.
Pricing that reflects real-world fair market value. And for members of the preferential zone, these reference prices will operate as a floor, maintained through adjustable tariffs.
A floor. Okay. So this how much the brick is worth. At the bare minimum, this how much the brick is worth. Now, if you guys remember, I told you, not saying it is going to be the standard, but remember, they reset the fucking price of 1 ounce of silver for the gold eagles. I'm sorry, for the silver eagles, right? Liberties, right? The silver liberties, I'm sorry. right, to $173 each. Okay. They originally had them at like 90 some bucks, and then they shut the motherfucking system down and they repriced them at $173 each. Now, am I saying it's going to be $173 per ounce? No, I don't believe it's going to be that high. But what I'm saying is, if I was a betting man, I'm saying it's not going to be nothing under 85, 90 bucks. Okay. And again, it's not financial advice or anything. I'm just saying, right? If they set a motherfucking, when the price was actually at fucking like 90 some bucks, right? The actual value, and they took it down and relisted at 173, that lets you know how they're looking at silver.
To uphold pricing integrity. We want to eliminate that problem of people flooding into our markets with cheap critical minerals to undercut our domestic manufacturers, because we know.
Now again, he definitely finessing right here. It's not that people are motherfucking flooding the market with cheap minerals as much as it is the paper. The paper fucking silver, bro, is what's fucking shit up. Okay, we talking about silver. You talking about everything else, whatever. I don't care about that. But what fucked the whole fucking silver market up was these paper fucking contracts that have no absolutely no silver attached to it. That's what fucked the shit up.
Of course, that as soon as they've undercut our domestic makers, the domestic markers, they leave the market, and the people who undercut them then jack up the price to a completely unfair level. We're going to fix that problem. Together, we want members to form a trading bloc among allies and partners, one that guarantees American access to American industrial might, while also expanding production across the entire zone. The benefits will be immediate and durable. Regardless of how much material flows into the global market, prices within the preferential trade zone will remain consistent. Over time, our goal within that zone is to create diverse centers of production, stable investment conditions, and supply chains that are immune to the kind of external disruptions that we've already talked about. For those of you who join, we offer you a necessary foundation for private financing and secure access to the critical mineral supplies your nation would require in an emergency or some other contingency. By regulating imports to preserve free and fair competition within the preferential trading zone, we will elevate our nation's miners and refiners, our investors and our producers alike. We are all on the same team, and we need to create the economic incentives that reward people for investing and building in our countries. Membership will be vital for developing economies seeking to expand mining capacity. And it'll be just as important for the advanced economies that rely on these materials to sustain their advanced industries, to sustain their growth and security. And I want to be clear with every person in this room why we believe America's market is large enough to create its own critical minerals trading zone. This entire effort will be stronger and far more competitive if we build it together.
No. So America does not have enough fucking silver or gold deposits. But gold's not one of the things. I don't know about uranium and stuff too. I'd imagine that other places have higher uranium and cobalt and a lot of these different other things. But I know if you're talking silver, that's going to be Central and South America. The biggest fucking silver deposits in the world are either Central and South America. Somebody said Peru. I know Guatemala has a substantial amount. Venezuela got a lot of gold. Like I said, Argentina has silver. So this is why they're letting it be known pretty much, hey, if we're partners with the Perus and the Guatemalas, and of course now we got, all but proxy power of Venezuela, hey, get down and lay down.
So I'm pleased that so many of you here today have already signed on to this plan. Some of you have not. And for those not yet there, we hope that today's discussions will encourage you to finalize those agreements as quickly as possible.
I would love for them to give a list. I don't know if they gave a list of the countries, or we go Google it and see. But if I was a betting man, right, I would definitely say that like Peru, Guatemala, and them are already on board. The ones that matter the most. At least I'll say a couple of the major ones.
Now, I know you're going to be hearing from a lot of others in our administration, including our great Secretary of Rubio, I think really the greatest Secretary of State the United States has ever had, and other senior administrators in our team. And I know that Ambassador Greer, our great trade representative, will present further specifics about what he'll be negotiating, what we're calling the Agreement on Trade and Critical Minerals. Knowing Jameson, I know it will be a very productive session, and I know it will be a very detailed session. As all of you who know Jameson well, he's a guy who gets into the details because he knows that that's where the substance of an agreement can really be made. So I want to close, but before I do, let me just reiterate. We here, I think all of us are friends. We've all spent many years describing this problem. Before I was ever in politics, I would hear politicians and global leaders talk about this problem. For too many of those years, we talked about it, but we refused to actually solve it. The framework before us is a change. It is a practical and enforceable approach to solving the problem, not just complaining about it. Many of you have helped us design it, and we're, of course, constructing it together in real time. So to those of you still on the fence, I say, let's move together. Before you is a chance to lead, to secure your nation's ability to build, to produce, to defend itself. What is before all of us is an opportunity at self-reliance, that we never have to rely on anybody else except for each other for the critical minerals necessary to sustain our industries and to sustain growth. So I propose that we come together and we shape a market worthy of the great men and women of our countries who depend on that market. Again, I want to thank you all for being here. I'm honored by your presence. The president sends his very best regards, and I look forward to everything that we're going to accomplish together. God bless you all.
Let me see. Let's see. Countries that signed up for critical minerals deal. Okay, I got it right here. Hold on. As of February 2026, the United States has signed multiple bilateral critical minerals frameworks, MOUs or MOUS. I don't know if that's MOUS or whatever. I don't know. In partnerships with numerous countries to secure supply chains, including Argentina. Remember I told y'all Argentina, Australia, Canada, Chile, Ecuador, Guinea, Japan, Malaysia, Morocco, Paraguay, Peru. That's the number one in the world for fucking silver. The Philippines, Saudi Arabia, South Korea, Thailand, United Arab Emirates, and Uzbekistan. So Saudi Arabia is going to cover oil, right? I don't know what they got in South Korea. What do they have in South Korea, y'all? Morocco, I would imagine, would be probably gold or something, right? I think Canada got oil, of course, and they might have some gold or silver. Chile, I don't know. Thailand, I don't know what they got in Thailand. Or Uzbekistan, but yeah. Oh, copper. Okay, that's another big thing too. Copper. Yeah. Rhodium. Okay. And all these things, man. Rhodium, that's a major thing that I think they use in the chips and shit too. The chips and the processors. That's a big thing, part of that too. Korea also has plutonium. I thought so. Appreciate the silence, sir. I'm pretty sure I thought South Korea would have been something nuclear related. So plutonium is huge. Kazakhstan, uranium. Did they say Kazakhstan? Or Uzbekistan? Uzbekistan will probably be the same thing. I think they're moderately close. What else did I want to talk about? We covered that. Okay. Let's get into this. All right. So basically, bro, look, listen. The SWIFT system is old and outdated. All right. The Clarity Act is being held up because the fucking banks don't want to motherfucking go silently. The banks don't want to die. Oh, that's what I wanted. Here we go. This. So and that was the other thing I wanted to look at too. Chicago's Metropolitan Capital Bank becomes the first U.S. bank failure of 2026. All right, mind you, I think this happened right at the end of January. I think this happened in January officially, or was it? Anyway, we want to be clear that no depositor will lose any money as a result of this action. Suzanne Soriano, acting director of IDF-PR's Division of Banking, said in a news release, Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust had $261 million in assets, total deposits of $212 million First Independent Bank agreed to assume substantially all deposits and purchase 251 million of the failed bank assets, according to the FDIC, which will retain the remaining assets for later disposition. FDIC estimates the failure will cost its deposits insurance fund about 19.7 million, but the actual cost will change as the retained assets are sold, the agency said. Located at 9 East Ontario Street in the River North neighborhood, Metropolitan Capital Bank and Trust opened in 2005. Founded as a universal bank, the mission was to provide a broad array of financial services, including commercial, private, and investment banking on a single platform. On its website, Metropolitan claimed to be the only boutique universal bank in North America focused on small to medium-sized businesses and their founders. Listen, bro. Y'all, listen. I don't want no motherfucking boutique bank. Fuck is y'all talking about, bro? That in itself, like, this designer shit. Look, bro. Listen. It's too many fucking banks, dog. I had pulled it up. Let me pull it back up. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show y'all. This is the important part. Now, listen. The wonderful FDIC, right? So y'all can see the prompt. All right. How much money are in U.S. banks versus the amount of money in the FDIC fund? As of late 2025, the U.S. banks hold roughly $24.5 trillion in assets, with insured deposits totaling many trillions. In comparison, the FDIC Deposit Insurance Fund, DIF, is much smaller, with a balance of $150.1 billion as of September 30th, 2025. This fund, meant to cover insured deposits in case of bank failures, equals roughly 1.40% of all insured deposits. Y'all see the fundamental issue and problem here? The fund is designed to cover 1.35 to 2% of total insured deposits, not 100% of all bank deposits simultaneously. Insurance limit, the FDIC insures up to $250,000 per depositor per bank, which is fucking impossible if you got 24.5 trillion fucking dollars in these banks. The whole banking system is fucking broken, dog. All right. Greed for one. Right? Motherfucking Epstein speaking from the grave, talking about how Bill Clinton pretty much forced the banks into subprime mortgages and shit, right? But when that happened, you had, I guarantee, if you go back and look at the number of banks that sprung up since then to get in the game because they know they can get free money before giving bad loans out on banks, I'll bet money that motherfucking rose exponentially, right? And now, let me see, how many different banks? There are 4,462 FDIC insured commercial banks in the United States, bro. Okay. And that's not including credit unions. Right? Oh shit. Fucking up. Kick my camera. Y'all see it, man. Hey, man. We came a long way with the thumbnails, man. You feel me? But let's see that. We covered that. Now let's look into the Clarity Act. Clarity Act. Here we go. And this, like I told y'all, the banks, look, bro. Y'all understand? Look at your fucking your checking account and look at your savings account. Bro, you don't even get a 1% of keeping money in your fucking checking account. And then you have to keep it at a certain amount or they charge you a fee. If you don't have direct deposit or you don't keep it at a certain amount, I think banks charge you like maybe a $10, $20 fee or whatever to maintain a account, right? That was another one of the finesses that they did where direct deposit. I keep telling y'all, man, listen, bro, when you start to seeing just like, again, the love of money, aka greed, is the root of all evil, man. Banks are just greedy as shit. Banks do not give a fuck, dog. They don't care. They hold your money. They made the system now where they force you to fucking hold your money. Used to be you got checks. Before I got in the Navy, you know what I'm saying? You could actually get a check, right? But then they switched it right before I left to where you had to have a bank account for direct deposit. Okay. You said they raised the limit. And that's something. It's constant thing, man. Well, hey, shout out to Tia. Tia, that's another thing too, right? So again, it's this constant fucking trap, dog, to where the system is the house always wins, bro. IRS, banks, government, and shit. The house always wins, bro. But if you know the rules, right, you can fucking get over. Stablecoin rewards issue remains unresolved after White House meeting. This is February 3rd, 2026, right? So stablecoin rewards, aka them giving you actual interest, right? Actual yields that the banks can't fucking compete with. This is why they don't want to sign the fucking Clarity Act. This is why they did what they did to XRP, right? Fucking them years ago, right? Because, bro, the banks are robbing you, dog. While your money sits in the motherfucking bank, right? And you make absolutely nothing off of it. Look at your checking account. Everybody, if you know what it is, put your checking account APY in the chat. Then put your regular savings account APY in the chat. And even the long high yield savings account, I think the most you can get on a high yield savings account might be 3% at this point. Might be. What the fuck is 4% when fucking interest when inflation is 8 or 7? So even if you're saving, you're not saving, and you can't save if the fucking APY for your savings account is less than the fucking inflation rate. But they don't tell us that. So yeah, high yield is like not even 4% anymore, 3.5, right? So think about it. Fucking inflation, bro. In reality, I think they tell us and they're reporting it to be somewhere around 4 or 5, right? So even if we keep it at 4, you losing 0.5% per year just by keeping your fucking money in a savings account. The actual fucking rate though is like 7 or 8%. So you're losing. But again, because we don't have these conversations and people don't understand how the shit work, the banks are look, when this shit is said and done, dog, the banks are going to be cut down by a lot. Of course, you're going to have the big players, Citi, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Chase. I say if I had to say it, they're probably going to cut the 4,000 some banking institutions, be cut in half to like 50%. A lot of them will be absorbed by, of course, the bigger banks and shit. But this stablecoin shit, man. Yeah. You mean checking account, not savings account. Checking account. Yeah, Wells Fargo. Shout out to Dollar Will, OG in the building, man. We're about to head into a deflationary cycle, which is way worse because it won't pivot in time. Stablecoin rewards issue remains unresolved. Yesterday, there was a meeting at the White House to reach compromise on the key issue holding up the Clarity Act crypto bill in the Senate, stablecoin interest and rewards. Community and other banks have concerns that permitting stablecoin rewards will impact deposits. Again, banks being fucking selfish, banks trying to motherfucking survive. Let these fucking banks die, bro. But this is the problem. And this is why I say we have to get political now. Bro, there has to be motherfucking congressional and Senate term limits. Okay? You get no more than 3. If the fucking president, the motherfucker that run the whole motherfucking country, bro, in the world, partially, only gets 2 terms, there's no way that a fucking congressman or woman should be able to motherfucking be in Congress for fucking 40 years. No way, bro. These motherfuckers is holding this shit up because their donors, the bankers, are on their ass. Don't you dare motherfucking pass this bill. Don't you dare motherfucking let this motherfucking bill pass with this shit in it, where these motherfuckers will be offering rewards and interest rates that we would never ever do. But again, listen, this is the banks are just so fucking greedy, dog. They making money hand over fist all the time. Whenever a fucking any amount of money touches account, it immediately starts accruing interest. When you're talking about these banks, you're talking billions and trillions of dollars. Billions and trillions. BlackRock, Vanguard, them motherfuckers too. That's why, hey man, that's why this shit got to get moving, because so let's get to the crypto shit, right? So that's why the Clarity Act's being held up. The Clarity Act is pretty much to get the rules and regulations for crypto and officially get motherfucking crypto going for the country, banks, and companies and shit to be able to use crypto, officially under like government fucking surveillance or government permission, right? Now, so the reason that this is so fucking important, right, is the instantaneous transaction. Okay? The instantaneous 24/7, 365 transaction. Banks don't want that. Right? The banks got to make money. The businesses, though, and everybody else is looking at this shit and be like, hey, man, fuck all that. We need this shit to move so we can get more transactions, right? And you got more money to make by not just waiting. And you losing more money with the SWIFT system and the old system, right? You losing more money, but it's more money that can be made because the transactions are quicker, faster, and more. Now, theoretically, this is why, again, not financial advice, this is why XRP has to motherfucking go up in price if it's going to be used as one of the fucking railways or the foundation of the money transactions. You can't have too low of a price for a whole big thing, because now, you know what I'm saying, you crashing the system because you're doing, you know what I'm saying, it's just way too many fucking commands for, $1, and I think it's like what, $1.49 right now, right? But if you bump that shit up to eventually what it needs to be in order for you to transfer $1 billion, $100 million or $1 trillion in split seconds, that is the utility and the theory behind XRP. That's the theory behind the utility of XRP, and as to how and why the price of it makes sense, versus Bitcoin just being, hey, I want to fucking, buy some shit for free without anybody knowing me. H-bar is another one. H-bar is another one everybody's talking about. I think he's in the process of foreign companies, and he's talking about that. It's not official yet, but he was talking about that. The Vanguard and BlackRock being able to fucking purchase commercial properties. He hadn't did it, but he said something about it. He pretty much threatened it, but it hasn't officially been done. Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. And the thing is, we don't know how much fucking we don't know how much XRP is being bought up in the private market already, right? The public shit, and again, you gotta please understand this, people. What's happening with crypto right now is exactly what happened on Friday with the fucking market. as you are panic selling or you getting up out of there because you tired of waiting and so on and so forth, bro. XRP was sitting at like $2 and something for the longest, right? $2, let's just say $2, right? Now it's gonna drop all the way down to under 150. What do you think a fucking $1 billion, $1 trillion corporation like fucking Vanguard and BlackRock and shit is fucking doing? Taking a discount and just getting more. It's going, and listen, just like everything, just like on Bitcoin, right? People, it's not too late. It's not too late, bro. At a point, it's too late, dog. Okay, especially now. At a point, it's too late because now you're just buying fractional, and you're never ever going to get up to the point of the time it's going to take for you to get to where it's a substantial amount of money from 0 to 75,000, right? In order for you to motherfucking make 75,000 out of motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I'll show you. My bad. I think it was when the last time I checked, it was like one. It was definitely at what's the name? It's XRP price. Why the fuck would you show me the fucking what's the name? Show me the goddamn. Let me see price. Let's do price chart. God damn. Fuck y'all got going on? Here we go. Got you. Yeah, it's hell, it's even lower now. 146, man. 146, bro. Not 146, brother. Not 148. That was like 2 minutes ago. I'm just saying, man. Again, none of this is financial advice. Please do your research and shit, bro. But listen, we missed out on the Bitcoin shit or whatever, so on and so forth, right? Y'all know we've been talking about fucking XRP for a little minute, bro. We was back on this shit back in 2020. I'm just saying, bro. If you out here buying lottery tickets, shit, Powerball and Mega Millions, $2, ain't it? Powerball and Mega Millions, $2, $2 a slot now, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. XRP cheaper than the motherfucking XRP cheaper than I appreciate the $5 a pop for what's that. So that's what I'm saying. That's up. So hey man, listen. Again, I'm just saying, bro. Telling y'all, dog, it's just patience at this point, bro. Doing the research and listening to a lot of people and shit and whatnot, what have you, bro. Again, you just get a different outlook on things and start having a better understanding. Yeah, Tia, fuck that shit. You'll be able to pay for the trip for everybody. So shit, fuck them. They'll be all right. They'll get over it. But this year is the year, man. You definitely need to be cognizant, okay, and pay attention to. Shout out to my man. We winning in the building. The brother dropped a lot of gems. You know what I mean? Again, of course, man. None of this is financial advice, and do your research. But there's a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of major moves happening. It's a once in a lifetime thing. Not even lifetime, bro. This is a once in fucking human existence thing that's about to happen, bro. Okay. Please understand that and move accordingly. Please understand it and move accordingly. Shout out to Dollar Wheel in the building. Make sure y'all sign up for the for the Patreon, man. Feel me? Pay attention, people. Pay attention, bro. Don't be out here being reckless, but don't waste your money on just stupid shit. This is not the time. This is not the year for that. Motherfuckers, bro, they destroyed the fucking silver spot down here. So that's what I'm telling you. Please believe there are people out here that are working for the Vanguards and the Black Rocks and shit. It's on and so forth, bro. They got people they pay to go to like your little local mom and pop coin shop and shit when this shit drops. Okay. All right. Please, man. Yeah, don't ball out. Don't motherfucking waste it. Please, people. I'm begging you, man. This again. I wasn't educated. I wasn't knowledgeable in 2008. Right? Had I been, shit, who knows? I wouldn't be talking to y'all today. Right? But understanding just how much bigger this is going to be than what that was, bro. And a lot of people don't see it coming. That's the sad part. Please be prepared, people. Please pay attention to all this shit that's going on. Stay out your feelings, right? You should have no emotional attachment to politics or money. This is not emotions. Study, learn, pay attention, and move accordingly. Shout out to my man Top Hat. Again, man, for another 2. I appreciate you. Ain't nothing but some money. Listen, learn, and leverage my people. Yeah, look into that too. Look into all of the legal protections and shit, bro. Oh, and most importantly, listen, hey, bro, be quiet. Don't be telling nobody about how much crypto you got. Don't be sharing none of your fucking crypto information. None of that shit. Do not do it. Should nobody be calling you about no crypto. Ain't nobody finna reach out to you and all this other shit and all. Don't transfer shit to nobody. Don't be sharing none of your motherfucking, you know what I mean? And most importantly, don't lose your don't lose your fucking seed words. Don't lose your seed words at the same time, man. Don't lose your motherfucking password. Don't forget your shit. Yeah, exactly, Tia. Don't do that shit. All right. A wise man once said, man, your mom to set that ass up, properly gassed up, hoodied and masked up for that fast buck. She be waiting in your kitchen to light your ass up. All right. Money make people listen, man. Money make people do shit you never thought they would do, man. So please, people, protect yourself, man, in all way, shape, form, and fashion. All right. Move smartly. You know what I mean? Move smartly. You know what I mean? Be careful out here, man. Hey, man, they had to make me a little, you know what I'm saying? A little, you know what I mean? You feel me? But nah, man, hey, I appreciate y'all for coming through tonight, man. I think this was a wonderful conversation, a little bit of history, most importantly, current events and things that are going on right now. You know, for things for you to watch out and be aware of. The property shit, bro. I again, if you think about getting a house, me personally, I'm not getting no house right now. And if I got a way to motherfucking pull equity out of my house without having to refinance and keeping a great fucking interest rate, I'll be looking into that. That 50-year mortgage and shit, that's pretty much, that was Trump telling you, hey man, this shit over with. This shit is way too fucking it's way too high, man. A lot of these things are just being, you know, and again, that's because they never let the shit do what it should have did in 2009, 2010. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, appreciate you too, man. Listen, bro, like I said, man, y'all know me, bro. I've kept it versatile for quite some time. People forget. I don't just, I just talk shit about black women or whatever, bro. I'm a, a lot of different things, man. But shout out to my man Andre. Greatly appreciate you, brother. Thanks again, fantastic. This was refreshing. Hey, I appreciate it, bro. I greatly appreciate it, bro. It definitely was. But hey, I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of y'all wonderful Wednesday night. Miss Fantastic 824 on all social media platforms, man. You got something you want me to look at, cover, whatnot, what have you. Hey, information stuff, whatever, not what have you, man. Hit me up, bro. And we'll talk about it, man. But hey, for real. That's that on that one. I will catch y'all on the next one. We out.